I am Chris Kaler.
And I'm Amber from Kajin Cosplay, and tonight we're back again with you guys with Better Call Saul, episode 4 of season 4.
Nacho is not doing good.
Nope.
He looked dead last episode, but
Almost.
I mean, they staged a shootout, and that was pretty realistic because they had to explain why his partner was dead. The twins are the ones that helped Nacho out because they shot Nacho, like Gus's guys shot Nacho in order to make it more realistic, and he almost died.
It really had to be a universal donor.
Yeah. So Nacho is healing somewhere. Jimmy finally read that letter from Chuck, and he kept eating his cereals as he was doing it, and no emotions whatsoever. Kim showed some tears. She really is not doing well. I think it's both the death of Chuck and how Jimmy is handling it that's heavy on her conscience, and
Probably,
I'm afraid of where this is gonna go with her. She's not doing good. And also, Jimmy managed, I was about to call him Saul. Well, to be honest, he is doing more Saul things now.
True.
But he stole the figurine from the photocopy machine sellers.
They almost got caught though, but he managed to do it.
Yeah. A good thing that Mike didn't want to do it for him. He's got principles. I like that. Even though he's a criminal, I like that he's got principles.
Guy.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see how they keep handling Chuck's death. What Gus's plans are for after, because he needs to find a producer now, because they can't send in more drugs, because I mean there's been a shootout, so he's planning all of this. I'm pretty sure he's got a plan, but let's see what he does next, and let's see what Jimmy does next too.
All right.
Let's go. Jimmy as a kid?
Oh no, that's Mike and his son. I'm sure of
You
it.
think, but it's not in blue.
Oh, true. But the car is similar.
Or maybe it's just the filter that's not as intense as usual. Good eye, good memory. Oh. A Mike episode.
He wanted me to talk. I talked.
He needs to deal with his grief too.
I was thinking that maybe you should talk to someone.
Yeah?
Yeah. I got a name. He's not far from here. I've heard good things. Thought you could give him a call.
Oh, I was gonna be there with Mike.
Yeah, okay.
Or maybe not the same
Oh yeah, maybe.
place.
Just,
If he goes to group meetings.
Maybe.
I have to...
Although, do you really think he's gonna go?
Jeez. I almost forgot to tell you. I got a job.
Really?
Yep. You're looking at Albuquerque's newest mobile communications specialist. I'm a shift supervisor even. Be very impressed.
Stop lying.
Cell phone sales. I'm selling cell phones. Mr. Finn, James McGill, listen, I've been thinking it over, and I just can't pass up this opportunity. If the position is still open.
Okay. At least. But he's not doing it for him, he's doing it for her.
Morning, Jim.
You know, I heard about a case, and I think you might be the right person for it. Interested?
Of course.
There's a young woman in her early 20s, pregnant with her first child, nearing the end of term. She develops a complication. She goes to the hospital for delivery, and there's a mistake with the anesthesia. She aspirates vomitus into her oxygen mask, stops breathing. The baby's delivered, fine. But the young mother suffers serious brain damage. She's left comatose on a respirator.
This is the plot of The Verdict.
Yes, of course it is. Because movies are the only place where those once-in-a-lifetime cases exist. You know what I got coming up next? I got a janitor who threw his pee on his boss. The one after that, she stabbed her boyfriend over a grilled cheese sandwich. This is the real world, Miss Wexler, and you won't find any Save the Broken Lawyer cases in it. Don't think that you are the first to try to rediscover their love of the law by trolling my court. You're not. And having said that, we've got perpetual PD overload. So beware. Next time I see you lurking in my court, I'm gonna put you to work. Understood?
She was looking for cases. She
luck.
needs something to motivate and push her
Thank you.
forward. I don't know, it's a
She needs to do something
All
good.
rise.
it's a depressive answer he gave her, but it's a pretty realistic one.
Good afternoon. Please be seated.
You wanted to discuss the conflict of interest.
Yeah, before we get started, I'll address the defense's motion to disqualify opposing counsel.
She's still there.
She
She's like, fuck you, man. I'm gonna keep looking.
Well,
Or don't pretend you know why I'm here. I'm just observing.
CC Mobile, this is Jimmy.
Heyo, how's the first morning?
Good, Robbie. Well, yeah, actually, it's a little slow.
Yeah, that store's always been a bit calmer. Just bring a book.
So this is a normal weekday?
Mostly, but wait till inventory week. There's a line out the door.
When's inventory week?
You just missed it.
Dude, you're being paid to do nothing.
Yeah, but
Your boss literally told you to bring a book.
yep, but passing time doing nothing, it's so boring.
And he's a pretty... he needs to move. He's a guy that he has a lot of energy. There you say. There you go. Fine, make one of your plans and do a promo thing. Like, do a... I don't know. In French, we have, like, sometimes vente sous la tente. You know? Oh, that's the guys they're gonna pin the attack on?
Vamos a necesitar más gente. Nos juntamos y los atacamos esta noche.
And they sold them their product, so if they have the product, after they kill them and see the product, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, you were after our distribution thing, so...
We don't need Canada.
Exactly,
and
that's the
the other
twins.
one. Shoot first and don't ask questions.
Never ask questions. That easy. The worst is,
If you don't, you're gonna miss everything.
no, but if they find out that he's, you know, part of the scheme with Gus, he's looking at them do their thing. He's like, they could do this to me.
Fucking son of monkeys.
And you know that they survived this. Yeah, well.
Oh, shit.
They survived 2 against the whole crew.
They didn't survive Hank.
Actually, Hank
Hank
is
is
good.
badass. You're gonna get killed.
He said you just take it low, man. You're still hurt.
He's got twin blood now. He's not expected to
Yeah.
lay low and do
He's a
nothing.
triplet.
You can do this. You can't miss. You can't miss.
Baby.
Oh shit. Dude, if you get an infection, you're gonna die. Oh fuck! Where did you come from?
It's the twins. They're magic. Okay, that's the answer.
But at least he showed up and he tried to help.
I would just have 20% of my power.
He got a nod. He got a... Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
That's for showing up even though he's dying on his feet.
Today I got up and I took a shower. Kaylee woke up on her own and got herself ready for school. It was just a regular morning. I made French toast for breakfast and we talked about the self-pasting toothbrush she's making for the science fair. I don't know why I noticed it just then, but I hadn't thought about Maddie all morning. Not once. When I was making French toast, why didn't I remember that it's his favorite? I think about Maddie every single time I make breakfast, but not today. I mean, what if I lose the sound of his voice? What if I forget him completely?
Oh, Mike has a hard time.
I mean, I know I won't. That's like impossible, but I don't know. I don't know.
A lot of us in this room have felt the same things you're talking about.
It's not easy.
Oh my gosh, gonna make me cry.
This guy at work, I've been avoiding him for the last 2 weeks. Ever since he got back from his vacation to Australia. She always wanted to go to Sydney, but money was tight when she got her test results. Mike, you have something you want to add?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You don't want to hear what I have to say. This guy was never married. He's been coming in here for months selling you a bill of goods, getting you all misty-eyed and loving every minute of it. Stop.
That's just not true.
Yeah? Okay. So I'll go to the public library and I'll get the papers from 1997 and I'll run a search on Judy DeVore, beloved wife of Henry DeVore. Tell me I'll find her obituary. Come on, Henry. Let's look at the papers, see if the math works.
Come on, Mike.
It's like he's mocking
She's
his
not there,
grief.
is she? Well, he came to the right place, didn't he? He knew you wouldn't notice. All wrapped up in your sad little stories, feeding off each other's misery. He wanted me to talk.
Oh, that's the...
I talked.
Okay. That's interesting how they did this episode. I mean, I can understand, like, his anger. He has grief, and it's really hard for him, and he can't even talk about it.
When
And then here comes the
somebody
guy.
just making up stories about his own griefs, like just rubbing it in your face.
Yeah. His grief is not a show, and it's not a way for other people to feel better about themselves.
Te dije que te fueras de mi casa. Tienes que irte. Ahorita mismo. Dios mío. Mijo. ¿Qué han hecho?
It's a long story.
Papá, no. Necesitas ir al hospital. Papá, por favor. No llames a nadie.
You're dying!
Si lo haces.
You still need to tell them it's a mistake, because they're gonna send the police anyway. She's been there.
I'm really scared now.
And I'm really sad too. He needs support so much.
I really don't want him to die in his papa's arm. Please.
Stop it with the papa. You have fun saying it, I know, but...
I like seeing papa.
I'm liking this Hummel thing. Cash came fast and clean. Got any more where that came from?
This is more fun to him.
I'll find some.
Sounds good. When you do, call the vet.
Yeah?
Yeah, new job, new phone. You never know who's listening.
Easy money, not much work, much more fun and adrenaline. I quit.
You got to turn off the fear when you come down into here.
Is that what he's... What?
While you're down here alone, the coal for the man is holding you near. And just turn off
Privacy
the fear.
sold
Is
here.
the man listening?
Okay, I thought he was gonna go in another direction, but...
Don't know if the boss gonna like it, but that's a way of promoting stuff.
He's appealing to people's paranoia. It was a huge thing, you know, when cell phones started. And even now, like today, people still have conspiracy theories about the FBI listening in, or people,
Yeah,
you know,
but
hearing your
even
transmissions.
with, smartphones and with computers. You got hackers and stuff, and people
Yeah, I know.
just
People are scared about that,
personal
yeah.
devices.
I thought he was gonna write something like "I quit." That would have been funny, but
Yeah.
You asked for a favor. You looked me in the eye. You shook my hand. And all the while, you knew Varga was moving against my interests.
I said I wouldn't kill Salamanca. I never promised to be his bodyguard.
true. Gus is not
So-
happy.
What now? You brought me here because you haven't asked. So why don't you stop running the game on me and just tell me about the job?
These two have so much power. They're badass when they're together. Sparks fly, I swear.
Oh.
Woo! Mike, there is one thing I wanted to say during the group scene, and I kept it like right here, waiting for the conversation. But it's interesting that everyone is talking about moving on, and you know, grief is there's moving on involved. You know, you are gonna not forget, but sometimes you're gonna go a couple days without thinking about the person you've lost, and it's normal. But that made me think of the first scene we saw with his son, with him writing his name in concrete,
Yeah.
drying concrete to stay forever. It's almost like Mike, he will face this reality eventually, or really, it's like Maddie is written in stone for him to remember always, you know? He's kept him in his heart, even though he hears like his daughter-in-law going through this, and you saw him like almost cry, like that hurt him, because he doesn't want this to happen. Maddie is supposed to be written in stone, and he's supposed to always be there to be remembered. And it's crazy because if Mike thinks like that, he's never going to allow himself to grieve. He's always going to be stuck with this weight. I think he wants to be stuck with this weight because he considers himself responsible for what happened.
Yeah.
He's a broken man.
There's also the fact that, for example, as a child, you can, with time, be less in pain with the grieving of your parents. As
A father
as a
losing a
wife,
kid.
or as a husband, you can be less pain with the grief of a spouse. But as a parents, you never forget.
Like people say, it's the worst thing that can happen.
There's no word to describe it. You're a widow, you're an orphan, but there's no word for a parent who loses a child.
Because it's inconceivable.
Yeah.
Do you
It's
take that from Glee?
No. No, I just saw a video on YouTube a few days ago, and it reminds me of our own grandmother. Because when we were younger, she lost one of her children. And it's been almost 20 years ago, and she's still grieving that pain.
She's always going to grieve.
Yeah.
I mean, when you lose someone you love, you're always going to be grieving. Like, you're not going to cry about it every day, but like when our first grandpa died, it's been years. I still can find myself crying about it if I take the time to think and, you know, remember.
I wanted to talk about it with you too when Stacy, was Stacy the...
Yeah.
When Stacy was speaking about, she's scared that someday she's gonna forget her husband's voice and his image, and I just thought, like you said, it's been years that her first grandfather died, it's been less than a year that a second grandfather died, and I have difficulties to remember how their voices sound like.
Now we have
I was
videos
about to
for
make
that.
me cry during this when I thought about it, and it's really sad.
It's part of losing someone. It's a very sad reality. I think that's also what hit Mike. Like, he doesn't want this to become his reality. Like I said, he wants his son to be written in stone for him to remember always.
Yeah.
But as the more time you spend without someone, the more you're gonna, forget about that person. Not forget completely. These people are always going to be somewhere in your heart. But it's not a good thing. I think like the brain is made and life is made good in this way so that you are not chained down by your grief and your memories. Because if you live in the past, you're never going to be able to move on.
Technically, we all have some skill of resilience. to overcome difficulties, pain,
We are
and
made, yeah.
traumas.
You know, you talked about our second granddad who died last summer, and before he died, I was talking with a coworker about his upcoming death because he had cancer,
Yeah.
and she said something I at the moment I thought it made a lot of sense, and I don't believe in God or anything, so I wasn't connecting with what she said, but the words made a lot of sense. She said like life is beautifully made in a way, like she said stuff like God made it so, but anyway, life is made so that you will lose, your grandparents, you will lose people, so to prepare yourself so that in the future when you lose your parents, your siblings, you're prepared. You've been through that process before and you grew stronger. So life is made so that you get stronger in order to face these moments in life. But losing a kid, that goes against nature. A parent should never, bury a child. So Mike is facing something that is unnatural, something he was never prepared for, and in a way, something he's kind of responsible for. Or at least he thinks he's responsible for it. So I can understand why he was so angry at that guy who pretends to go through this when other people are going through this grief and they have a hard time dealing with it, and he just shows up and tells a fake story because yes, there are people that want to feel, this compassion from others. They want to be looked at and listened to.
There's so many reasons for someone to do it.
I know, but it's kind of sick.
Some of them just maybe wants to feel a part of a group of something.
Yeah.
Some of them are just sick for attention.
It's sad for the other people who realizes this and they have to listen to this guy and say nothing. But I thought it was cool, like Mike basically putting him in his place and be like, you wanted me to talk? I talked. He's got a lot in him and he doesn't allow himself to talk about it. He doesn't want to let go of that pain.
Yeah.
Whew, he was intense this episode.
Oh, that was so sad with Ignacio and his father.
I don't know what's gonna happen, but he looks dead on his feet. He looks like he's
and
dying.
He doesn't want to go to the hospital because if he goes, those are bullet wounds.
I know. They're gonna call
Police are gonna invest in it. The DA is gonna invest in it.
And I mean, if he has a past with the Salamancas, you just know. And if he becomes a problem, the twins are gonna turn on him so fast.
Eliminate the threat.
Yeah, and not just him, like maybe also like Gus. Like Gus doesn't want to be found out also. So if he becomes a problem, everyone could turn on him, and he cannot allow that.
Yeah.
So.
And for a second, seriously, those twins are something. They got 2 bags full of guns, and they take a whole. I don't even. It was a whole cartel, a whole territory with both of them.
And I love how Ignacio was basically like, oh, I'm gonna come back later at night with my guys and stuff, and he was trying to make up a plan, and they're just like, fuck off. I'm gonna do it myself. And the other twin that wasn't a hit just showed up out of nowhere, came out from the back. I don't know, just
they're magical. They just disappear.
They're so cool.
But you're not that Ignacio. Yeah, you're part of the family now.
Yeah, although if they learn...
Somehow.
But I saw that scene as Nacho remembering that if he ever is found out, like if they find out that he went against them, they're going to turn on him. These 2 Terminators are going to turn on him. You don't want to be on the wrong side of the Salamancas.
Nope.
We saw that in Breaking Bad. Gus saw that in Breaking Bad too.
Yep.
Shit. Anyway, and Jimmy, like, I was wondering what he was gonna do. Like, I thought maybe he was gonna quit his job in a very intense way, but I'm like, dude. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be too crazy to imagine Jimmy quitting this way, like writing stuff on his windows and.
It's gonna be called the police are gonna be calling him.
That's the thing, I think for a second, I just imagined that's what he was going to do, but it ended up being like a marketing thing, although writing with paint on the windows, I don't think the boss is going to like that.
Yeah, but that place is a slow place for sales, so that could be a good thing if he brings customers in it.
But he's appealing to people's paranoia. In these times, it was a lot, and people were very concerned about that, so maybe that's... And I mean, huge letters on your windows. People are going to look, so maybe that's going to increase... the customer number. He's good, like, he's a good salesman, but And I mean, I can understand not liking the job if nothing's going on. I was wondering if that's what's gonna push him back to stealing more, because there's much more adrenaline doing the other job, and he likes it a lot more, like he's more in control, and now he's just an employee. He has to work for his money, and he doesn't really like that. Not the working for his money, but it's a lot of standing around doing nothing and just being miserable for a low paycheck. He's doing it for Kim, so at least there's that, but I don't think it's going to be permanent. And we know it's not going to be permanent. As soon as he gets his license back, he's going to go back to being a lawyer, but...
Yeah.
I hate that he's got so many chances to go the straight path, and we know he's not going to take it because we know where he ends up. But and they remind us every beginning of season. They remind us of where he ends up as Gene. But it's like watching a train wreck. You know, a train being wrecked, and you can do anything, but you know it's going to happen. It's just you have to stand there and suffer.
You're seeing all the sign and the red flags everywhere, and it just can do nothing about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, a lot of that today. Whew. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this episode with us. If you want to see the next one right away, it's already on Patreon. The link is in the description.
Yes, don't forget to subscribe if you want to watch it now, and if not, we're going to be out on YouTube, guys.
Soon.
See you soon.
Bye.